Hey friends, welcome back to Paul's Little Forge. Got a new one this week. We're going to do a beginner's knife. This would be a knife for a first-time knife maker who's never made one before. We're not going to do everything that I normally do with forging and heat treat and all of that. This is going to take basic tools. It's just a little entry-level project for somebody who might want to get into knives to see if they like doing it. Here's what we have, guys. So we have an old file or large file here. It's pretty rusty. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to cut it about off right in this area here. And why are we using an old file? Well, because they're already hardened. So you don't need a forge to do anything with this. So we're going to do what's called a stock removal knife. We're going to put this little template on here that you guys have probably seen me use before if you watch my videos. We're going to cut that shape out, and then we're going to use some hand tools to bevel it, sharpen it, do all of that fun stuff. So it's going to be kind of cool. Let's do it. In the comment section, I will put a list of all the tools that are going to be needed to do this project. That way you can review it and have those tools on hand before you get started. All I'm doing here is smoothing out all the rough edges. So now I'm just going to kind of knock this rough edge down. That rasp is pretty sharp, so you don't want to cut your fingers on it. Okay, everybody. So now that we got this cut out, we want to bevel this and have it taper down to an edge. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a little line back right in here of where we want that bevel to stop. Then next we will draw a center line on the edge down here. And then lastly, we'll draw another line of how far up we want the bevel to come. So what I use a couple of different things. I do use the blue Dykem layout fluid sometimes. I also just sometimes color it in with a Sharpie, and then you can scratch with a scribe in it. This time I got this acrylic marker. We're gonna try that, just see how it works. It's paint basically. It'll clean off with a little goof off when you're done, or some carb cleaner or something like that. So we're gonna first put a little line right back here for where everything stops. And this is very hard to mark on because it's a rough surface. Now I have a nice little tool to do this with that you can put on there to clamp on both sides and then draw a line. You can do that just fine. We're gonna let that dry before we mark anything else on there. For this tool right here, guys, for what we're doing, you can make one of these at home. You just need a couple of pieces of 1/4 inch thick steel or 3/8 thick, in that range. You don't need this bottom piece. So you thread one of them, this piece here, and then you put a pass-through hole in the top piece. And then you can go in and tighten that down and put it on here. So you do not need a $100 tool for doing this. You can do this with something cheaper. Now, if you're gonna do it for a living and you're gonna get really into making knives, then I would recommend that you get a nicely made one out of carbon steel, or make one yourself out of carbon steel. That way, it doesn't grind easy. It's pretty straight. So again, this is gonna be hard to mark because we're marking a rough surface, so it's gonna be hard to see, but we're giving it our best here. All right, it is really hard to see. I don't know if you can see that little line right there, but yeah, it's showing up. So now we're going to put a scribe down the edge. Now for this, I really think you're probably going to have to buy a tool to be able to do this accurately. So the point is to get a center line and go down this. So what I usually do is get it really close to the center, pull it on this side, and then pull it on that side. So those two lines, whatever the gap is in between them, is the center. I will put a link in the description for where you can buy one of these at. So now, if we turn this to the side, you can see that line in there. Okay, I'm gonna start beveling this edge right here, trying to keep an eye on that line that I put in and the scribe mark down here. We are using these flap discs right here. So let's see how this goes. I apologize, everyone. I didn't have the camera on when I made that bevel line on the side. You can see it in the video here, though. My bad. What I keep looking at on the side of this knife is to see how close I'm getting to that center line on the edge. Guys, what's really important here is to get that edge right down to about the thickness of a business card. And then you can sharpen it after that. Okay, if you can see that edge, it is very thin now, and that's what we want. Business card or thinner. I've been using a 40 grit flap disc on this. I'm gonna go see if I got some 120s so I can shine it up a little bit better. I did find a 120. So now I'm just gonna round off these corners a little more because that's gonna be our handle. We're not gonna put scales on it because the main reason is this is already hardened. And so it's gonna be very hard to drill those. Now I do have some solid carbide bits that would drill them, but you guys probably aren't gonna have those. So it's gonna be a one-piece knife, handle included. It'd be your first knife and it'd be really cool. This is a great Father's Day project too for guys out there that wanna do something with their son, or a son that wants to do something with his dad. All right, so here's your first knife, guys. Is it something you're gonna be able to sell? Probably not, right? But it's something you made for you, and that's important. And you could also, like I say, do this with a project with somebody else. Be a nice little memory. Now, you could stop here and not do any more, but and go ahead and put you an edge on it if you got a sharpening stone. Make sure you got that edge nice and thin, like we talked about on the bevel. But I'm gonna clean mine up a little bit. So I'm gonna get some sandpaper with a little bit of a cushion behind it, and I'm gonna just kind of make this look a little bit prettier here. Guys, this really is the hard part of making knives, is finishing them. That's why I suggest starting with a stock removal knife first. Everybody thinks I gotta learn to forge to make knives. You can do it without forging, but forging is kind of easy once you kind of get the hang of it. You can get them forged into shape. It's finishing them that is really difficult and time consuming and really test your patience. And this is what I'm doing now, is finishing this. This is 120 grit that I'm using right now. I like to use Windex as a lubricant. It's cheap, it works, and it cleans. That's the side I haven't done yet. This one's looking a little better. So guys, the goal with the hand sanding is when you're grinding, you're getting your grooves this way. Hand sanding, I'm gonna change that pattern and get them to run long ways. And that is just after, I didn't film every bit of it. That's a good 30 minutes of hand sanding right there though. Used 120, 240, and 400. Getting there. Cut. Off camera, I took this over and put the leather strap on it just to knock any little minute burrs off the end. Let's see if it's any better. Yeah, that's pretty good. So guys, there is an easy first knife to make right there. Pretty cool, huh? So we just took an old file and we made it into something useful now instead of throwing that away. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Give this a try if you're just starting out. Send me a message if you need help, you get stuck with something. Ask me a question, I'll be glad to answer it for you. Thank you guys. I appreciate all my followers. You guys are great. You mean a lot to me. Wouldn't do this if you guys weren't there. So again, thank you, and we'll see you next time.